Hey guys, so we are checking out the top topics related to the economy. So let's see what's up. Trump just eliminated 800 duty-free exemption for imports from China. It could be a disaster for small businesses. But wait, I thought we loved those. So all the dropshippers will switch over to teaching courses, running exclusive support mastermind groups instead. And actual small businesses are going to have to raise prices even more. But yeah, this is pretty much the reality. If you go and try to make your own path, you might realize that the big businesses are kind of cannibalizing everything. And let's even suppose you started with good intentions. I mean, you may end up as a shovel seller. And legit small businesses most likely will just fall to big businesses, or they just have to deal with having less customers. Europe can import disillusioned talent from Trump's US, says Lagarde. Now, I think Europe is an okay place to be, but it's not exactly known for paying top dollar for top talent. Outside of, like, Switzerland or something, you pretty much can hope up to half of what you would get in the US. And that is the best. But interestingly, Europe kind of getting to be on the level of, well, at least price-wise, that Western European countries are on and possibly US is on. So the point is, everything is expensive, but you get paid less. Sure, it's kind of more friendly to workers, and you can generally pay for kind of universal healthcare. I mean, it might be paid by the government, or usually just have to pay into it. But my point here is that, let even suppose that, just look at the programmers, right? In the Silicon Valley, they could be making like possibly 7 digits, right? And that's nuts. Or at very least, possibly high 6 digits. In Europe, you will be counting yourself blessed, and almost certainly this will not be the case at all. If you saw 6 digits, you would be the 1%, at least when it comes to making money. While you could be working on the same company, on the same project, but getting paid like 1/5. As an engineer with 10 years experience, my peers in Munich make 50% less compensation than me, and those in Japan make 75% less. And that is ultimately the rub. And brings up the question, where's the money? Trump official orders Consumer Protection Agency to stop work. Well, doesn't surprise me. That's bad for business. The relationship recession is going global. The article highlights a global trend towards increasing singledom, which is linked to declining birth rates across various countries, including developed and developing nations. This shift suggests that fostering relationship formation may be more impactful on birth rates than merely incentivizing childbirth. As the decline in stable relationships is a significant factor in this demographic change. Well, this is pretty much what you get with a broke population who's essentially always made to fight each other constantly. That's what you see on media. That's what you see basically everywhere. Of just like, it is just an endless battle, right? Just endless culture war. You're supposed to fight each other, and also just everyone is broke. Now, sure, you might extract yourself from the madness, but that doesn't mean that others did so. And it does not change the fact that most people are not financially well off. I think the commenters are a little confused here. Even with all the bullshit out there, all the business, it mostly just comes down to money. Like, how many kids like Elon Musk has? Like, I don't know, like 500? I don't know what's going to be the solution here. I guess we don't want equality and, let's just have people have a good lives thing. That's just completely out of the question. So I guess the solution would be that we're going to have rich boy harems, right? Let's go. U.S. government department to tie funding to marriage and birth rates? What the fuck? Oh my god. What a good summary. Read, U.S. government department to tie funding to states who supply the most cheap labor. That's all any of this, the country needs more babies, rhetoric, combined with restricting access to birth control and abortion is about, 100%. And just in case I haven't hit the limit yet, I'm adding an extra line or two. What? But ultimately, this is the reality. Unless people make a ruckus, kind of rise up, those in power will do whatever they want and whatever is useful to them. Fake job postings are becoming a real problem. But To who, though? Because it does look good for the government that there are so many jobs available. It is also in the interest of workplaces and agencies that they get to farm CVs. Possibly in the doubly so in the interest of workplaces, because people just waste their fucking time on this bullshit, and that just makes them more desperate. So instead of applying for genuine opportunities and using their time well, now they're just wasting their time on something that's never gonna be. And I'm not sure people quite realize the impact of this. Let's say that you have a site, and you might not explicitly ban fake job postings. I mean, they're not strictly fake. People just post them, right? It's like, yeah, maybe we are looking for this and that. So now you have the people who are going to your site to apply to jobs, kind of wasting their time completely. Because let's say that, just a job seeker is spending like hours a day applying to jobs, and most of it will be fake. And you can never punish companies for this because, like, oh yeah, we had that job, or we were looking for that role. Like, this is impossible to prove and impossible to punish, essentially. My company has them posted even though we have no approval to hire. I'm hiring manager and being sent to career fairs for interns next month that we know we won't hire 5 months from now. I must waste a month prepping in unbillable time, which our leadership then requires we make up for during the rest of the year, usually meaning overtime. What the fuck is up with the theater of work? Yeah, this is just bullshit. And that's what I would love to see. Disruption. There's no nice way to say this, and there's no nice way to do it. You need to completely tank how society works. Just use AI and robots to completely tank this business culture, and possibly creating abundance to the level where money is worthless. It doesn't have to be to the level where everyone is rich, whatever that is, but everyone just has enough stuff, because essentially what gives money value is scarcity. And if you had a world where, let's say that everyone just has the stuff that they need, then what's the point of money, right? Money is worthless. You don't need to be a trillionaire. And that would be the biggest fear of those who have stuff and, have the money, is like that the others don't care about it. And the most obvious and the clear conclusion that they should not. Because let's suppose that you were a trillionaire. You had all the money. And this guy has no choice but, just slave for your money. Just like, yes, please give me the money to live. And they're like, but let's suppose they don't have to care about it. Then you have a trillion of nothing. So you would have to take away their shit to make them your slave. That is why scarcity is critical. Because suppose you can just give everyone like, 20K and they're just like chilled. I mean, then what kind of world you have? Yeah, it wastes job seekers' time and many of them need a paycheck. Yeah. It just makes them more desperate and gives more of an upper hand to the employers. My company has open positions too, even though we've been hiring freeze for almost 2 years and aren't able to fill headcounts that was empty due to attrition. So again, this is not exactly secret. Literally everyone's time is wasted. Yeah. The only way to possibly solve this is to tank that company, right? They need to perish. I have never thought about companies posting fake jobs, but there are definitely recruiters doing it. Too many jobs get sent to me with the most generic requirements, sometimes mirroring my online resume. Yeah, recruiters have incentive to do it for resume farming. Yeah, that's a good point. They want a big candidate pool to pull from to then sell that pool to potential clients. That's a good point. So when it comes to apply for when it comes to just posting a job, they will not even do that. They will just simply buy the candidate pool from previously farmed fake jobs, I suppose. Employee revenge quitting. The damage to businesses is real. Right. The thing is, people would not be revenge quitting if they were having a good time. If the money was amazing and people weren't dicks, then at most you would be retiring. I don't care about this. Treat your employees well and shit doesn't happen. Can I refute being fired because it isn't a good time for me right now? So revenge quitting is, I acted like a total dick and people left. What the fuck? China's AI industry has almost caught up with America's, and it is more open and more efficient too. Cheaper, right? So, yeah, efficient. When it comes to best AI value-wise, it's gotta be easily DeepSeek R1, which also happens to be actually the best choice in some cases. So while American companies have okay AI, but the price is not right. The housing market hasn't been this slow in almost 30 years, which is a good deal for those who already have houses. And it's messed up that if you have a house or have property, then your incentive is that others do not, because that increases the value of your property. You will fight like hell that others don't get to have their own houses. Possibly they get to rent from yours, or at least no more houses get built, because then the money value, the fantasy point value of your house is going up. And if people just started spamming houses, then that might actually make your house worthless. But at very least, worth much less. This has everything to do with mortgage lock-in. Almost 60% of existing mortgages have rates under 4%, while new mortgages are over 7%. Yeah, so not only the houses are expensive, but borrowing money is expensive too. A job report shows a hiring slowdown as companies are acting like they are in a recession. Also, a lot of companies are outsourcing to India and also using AI to possibly not get rid of everyone, no doubt, but to hire less people. And it's very tempting because let's say that you have to pay like good money for your employees before, and also they were such a mess, man. They acted high and mighty, expected to be treated with some respect, not just your own personal slave whose only purpose is to make you money. Now, this is not a problem. If you can just use robots, you possibly can use very desperate people from third world countries, or most importantly, just use AI. Of course, they get fired, and with like a good advice, maybe like good luck, man. You're gonna be all right, and then you get paid. And I can't even blame businesses for this because that is the game, right? If you don't do it, then others will do it, and you will go under. So essentially the game is now that we're on a Titanic, try to buy a seat on the lifeboat. Well, if everybody acts like they're in a recession, there's definitely going to be a recession. But isn't there a recession right now? Like businesses, people also cut spending in uncertain times. At the moment, many people are feeling some fiscal uncertainty. But also I ask, who's going to buy the product? Because it's definitely not going to be the guy who got fired. Automation keeps the GDP up while keeping the 99% down. Talks automation, paying out UBI. Job openings decline sharply in December. So we have less jobs and they're fake. Hedge fund managers pocket almost half the investment gains as fees. Yeah, this is a fundamental problem with any system where you have a middleman. The middleman just exists to actually fleece, right? They serve no purpose. And anyone who tries to eliminate the middleman is not going to be popular. But it's not going to be just one middleman. You have, let's say that you have a profitable venture between A and B. Now, if possible, you're going to have so many middlemen between these till the profitability between A and B is completely gone. It will entirely go to the middleman. Suppose an example, there were many programs before where it was all bullshit about helping people. It never helped people. And now you have like a program like Give Directly. It's like, yeah, that might work. So you don't need anyone between. So the takeaway would be that if they can, they will. The only solution would be to not have them there. Am I reading this right? 8.3% gross gains. Yeah, 50% fees, 4.1% net gains. Yeah, and 6% from treasury rate. But it does appeal to those who, I guess, maybe stupid or possibly greedy. Like, it could be the same thing. GDP is the wrong tool for measuring what matters, Scientific American. I say what matters would be the floor, right? Falling birth rates raise prospect of sharp declining living standards. People will need to produce more and work longer to plug a growth gap left by women having fewer babies. All right? But let me suppose that the babies that end up coming to this world, or the young people right now, is like, oh yeah, I'm a rich person, you should take my money. Or like, I'm an old person, you should work for me. Or something like that. And ultimately, your answer should be, mostly, or at least what you could be thinking, is like, why should I give a fuck? I don't understand the logic behind the obsession with birth rates while automation and AI are increasing in potential to take even more jobs away. I guess it's just the desire for cheaper labor, like they can exploit in the third world. But also you gotta keep in mind, assuming this is an American context still, like you would have 300 million people, right? That's nothing on a global scale. Bingo. This title is so on the nose, it's inevitable you will work longer hours and have a worse quality of life, but you can blame women for being somehow single-handedly responsible for not having enough babies. Don't look at the class warfare going on. Here's some nice cultural warfare at the distract you. That's a good point. Every other topic, every other discussion is total bullshit. It just gotta be money, right? I mean, if you want democracy, then it's really decided by who has the money, right? I mean, I'm just gonna vote for the money of Elon Musk or something. Will it work? They want us to have more babies, but also want to work us to death while we have them. No maternity leave. Right. You just say this because you don't have a sufficiently high enough hustle grind mindset. IT unemployment rises to 5.7% as AI hits tech jobs. This is also almost certainly underreported. Because such metrics generally include people who already had jobs and now they possibly can't find it. IT jobs are hit by offshoring, not AI. Pandemic made executives realize that they can offshore more jobs than they previously did. Lots of jobs moved to India, Philippines, East Europe, where you can get 3-6 engineers for the cost of one in North America. The difficult reality is that a lot of college graduates who are passionate about technology-related jobs will need to reskill to something they are less passionate about. That is in higher demand for their labor. It sucks, but that's how it is. It might be okay if you already have a lot of experience, but when it comes to businesses, will they allow you to get experience? Because consider that they can get at least 2 guys for the price of you. I really hope the general American public gets so screwed over by these fascist oligarchs that they eventually rise up and start sharpening the guillotines. No, it's all fine, right? You know, the people who voted for Trump, even those who voted for him, clearly voted for what he's doing right now, and clearly also voted, or possibly voted mainly, for Elon Musk to be president. So all is well. Politics is always a game of saying whatever works to get elected, then doing whatever you got bribed to do, essentially. Or whatever you want to do. And generally speaking, those who are in power are not the one who are directly owning things. So, suppose you were like a big business boy, you would have some kind of puppeting government who's like serving your interests, something. Like, you would have many of them. But now, literal business oligarchs, literally the biggest business oligarch, is kind of running the government. And they just want to help you, man. As an American, nothing's gonna make these fucking idiots get up and do anything. As long as they have internet and running water, they're just gonna bitch on social media and do jack shit because they are too lazy to get out of their chairs. One person here and there might get fed up, but never enough to actually do anything. Almost certainly would be beaten back down by the police and the army. But the scary future that we're heading toward, and people are not thinking about this, that possibly if you ever gonna, I'm not saying that you should, right? I'm talking of hypotheticals here. But the age of rebellion will probably end. And why is that? Because suppose that you get to be a business oligarch, right? You can just have robots serve your interest. Just have a bunch of like Terminators, right? You can have an entire Terminator factory and the robots are working for you. And if the people rise up, then you can just beat them down with the robots. So it is beyond obvious that you cannot vote for your interest. And I can assure you, Elon Musk is not waiting for you to ask him to do right by you, nor will he ever do that. So all you can do is pretty much nothing, because the world is divided. But at least at this point, those in power need to care about the opinion of those, or at least that the distraction of those who are not. But suppose you can have like robot armies and robots work for you, then why should you care, right? Let's say that an entire country rises up against you, but like, yeah, what are you gonna do against my Terminators? A good example could be that we recently had the news, well, like kind of like a month ago, that there was a coup attempt in South Korea that was only stopped because the cops and the army had some integrity. They were serving the people. But robots will have no such integrity and no limitations. They would have mowed down the entire mob without hesitation, and that is our future.